Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this video is the worst makeup products and skincare products that I tried in 2019. These just disappointed me for whatever reason, and there's a few in here that I have never talked about before. I've been saving them for this video. This video is kicking off my best of, worst of 2019 series. The next one, it's gonna be my best makeup products of 2019, and I have so many good things in that video. Also, some of them I have not talked about yet. And the final video, which is probably the most important video for those of you who are really interested in skincare, because you know how seriously I take my skincare, that's gonna have skincare, hair care, as well as lifestyle products that I discovered in 2019. Before I get fully started, if you are not subscribed to this channel yet, if this is your first time here, or if you've just been watching my videos and just have not hit that red button yet, I would love it if you would become part of the family and consider subscribing before the end of this video. I'm gonna start with powders. I have 3 powders here that were disappointing makeup products for me in 2019. And the first one was actually a favorite in 2018. So this product specifically is kind of odd for me. It's pretty rare that a favorite product ends up a huge disappointment, and I usually only talk about products that I discover in a particular year. But this launched in 2018. I discovered it in 2018, but something happened with this product in 2019 that caused me to not like it anymore. This is the Becca Hydra Mist Set and Refresh Powder. So this is the tiny little size of it. I loved this last year. It feels wet when you put it on, but it looks invisible, and it just sets your under eyes and your face beautifully. It mattifies the T-zone, but it doesn't make you look like you're wearing this layer of powder. I just always felt like it was really great for any skin type. And I really felt like that kind of wet water hydra sensation and functionality was what was so unique about this powder. So I only had this powder a few months, and I kept it sealed very, very tightly inside a drawer. And I was using other powders, and I pulled it out to use it one day, and the hydra part of this powder was completely gone. It was just a regular powder. The main reason why I liked this powder was because it was so unique, and it felt so unique, and it just functioned in such a way that was different than other powders. And when that part went away, this powder ceased to be so amazing to me. And when I mentioned that in a fails video, I had the same response from a lot of you. Yours had dried out as well. So I knew it wasn't unique to me. I contacted Becca to ask them about it. I never got a response, which I was kind of surprised about. So this was just a huge disappointment for me in 2019. This is another brand. Actually, most of these are brands that I really, really enjoy. I'll say most, not all. But Wonder Beauty, I have a great relationship with them. This was a product that they had sent me in PR. It's a powder. I don't actually know the exact name. It's a compact powder where the powder is infused into the poof. I cannot wrap my brain around using this over and over and over, even for convenient touch-ups, because I am someone who has sensitive skin. I break out very easily, and there's no way to clean this powder. I get the concept, but I don't understand why I'm going to spend this much on this powder. So I was just kind of immediately disappointed and a little turned off by this powder, even though I get the premise behind it. So that was a disappointment for me as well. Okay, so this next powder I've yet to talk about on my channel at all. And it is from a brand that I really, really like. A ton of products that I use are from this brand. This powder was sent to me, and I immediately thought I was gonna like it. I hoped it was kind of a reincarnation of a powder that they used to have that I loved so much. And the powder inside is fine, but I can't use it because of the delivery system. I just cannot use it. So this is the kind of new Urban Decay Ultimate Brush Off Set and Go Powder. If any of you have bought this, you probably know what I'm about to address here. This lid, it kind of locks in place a little bit. You just give it one quick twist. There's nothing preventing this powder from just falling out of the sifter and going everywhere. I have to be so careful with this every time I lift this brush out. Can you even imagine taking this brush to your face? So even if you go in with a separate brush, it's just kind of like, what's the purpose of this brush? It is so messy inside this container, and it just seems like every time I put the lid back on, a cloud of powder just goes everywhere. I can't stand using it. I never use it because of the delivery system. Why? I don't even know who designed this. They should have at least put a seal or something over the sifter so that it wouldn't end up just a huge mess. This was a huge disappointment. I would be scared to death to travel with this because of that just one quick twist. I mean, you would have powder all over your bag. My one concealer fail of the year, I can't even remember if I put this in a video. I think I did. I think it was a monthly fail, is the Fenty Beauty concealer. I'm sure there's an official name for it. So I have oily combination skin. I have an oily T-zone, but I can get surface dehydration sometimes. But my under eye area is dry and textured. I am in my mid-40s and it's just an area I have to be very careful with. And I do like a hydrating concealer. But I can use concealers that are smooth and not super creamy. This was the worst concealer. It was chalky and dry. I couldn't even blend it out. I tried to use it several times, and every time I tried to use it, I had to completely start over with my under eye area. I'm talking wipe it away with a makeup wipe, rehydrate my under eyes, and use a different concealer. It was really bad. I had to return that concealer pretty quickly. Just not good. Speaking of the under eye area, going into a skincare product, the Laneige Eye Sleeping Mask. I really thought I was going to like this because I have liked some of their facial products as well as their lip balms and lip masks. I love those so much. I just thought that their eye sleeping mask was going to be super hydrating, and it actually made my under eye area feel kind of dry. I'm still not sure why. It just was not very moisturizing. It wasn't very hydrating. I didn't really like it under makeup. So it was a big skincare under eye fail for me as well. I find that with the skin type that I am, sometimes primers can be kind of tricky because I do like to keep the oil at bay in my T-zone, but I don't want any dry areas to be emphasized either around the perimeter of my face if I have them. I don't always have that going on. It just happens every now and then, and I certainly don't want anyone to be able to see that. And I also find that for me in particular, and this may not be an issue if you have normal skin, if you're not dealing with an oily T-zone, pore filling primers don't tend to really control oil for me very well. And that was the case with a primer that I am asked about constantly because I don't think that I've really talked about it that much. And I have two primers here that landed in my worst of beauty 2019 video. The first is the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, and I know I'm in the minority here. I feel like everyone loves this primer. I just felt like something had to be wrong with me for not liking it because it seems like everybody loves it. But I do feel like the people that love it have more combo, normal, or maybe even dry skin. I just felt like the areas where I placed it tended to not be as oil controlled as other areas. So it did smooth, but it just didn't control my oil as well as other primers that I do love. So those of you that have been wondering how I felt about the Tatcha Silk Canvas, unfortunately, it just was not a great experience for me. Another primer that I was really disappointed in 2019 that I know a lot of you were and a lot of other YouTubers were as well is the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Primer. It really didn't do anything for me at all. It didn't really make me more greasy, but it didn't really enhance the longevity of my makeup or my foundation. And the packaging is just very cheap, especially for Pat McGrath. I mean, this is a luxury makeup brand, and this is a very Amazon looking package. Not that there's anything wrong with Amazon makeup or some Amazon makeup. I wish you could feel this if you haven't. It is very plasticky and cheap. I did show this in a fails video. I mean, you could just tell from the bottom, it's just very cheap. It is not something that you would expect from a luxury brand. You would expect a glass bottle, a nice plastic tube, even acrylic would be nice. This is something that could have been made at home. I think most of us were just very surprised by this, especially given the packaging of the other products that were launched around the same time. It was kind of like it was an afterthought. So this is very, very disappointing in 2019. Okay, so these next two products are facial sprays, facial mists. So the first one is the Beauty Blender facial mist. It's called something. I'll have it here on the screen. I bought this because it was new. It looked so promising. I loved the mist. It's the most perfect cloud-like mist of any product I've ever owned. I really, really think it is. You almost can't even feel it on your face. It feels so good when you apply it to the skin, but it made my skin very, very greasy very, very quickly. So I think it works best more for normal or dry skin. This was more of a personal disappointment because I didn't have the skin type for it. I would really love it if Beauty Blender would come out with a facial mist that was more universal or better for combination or oily skin, because I loved the bottle and the delivery system. So that was just more of a regret type of product for me. Now, this one I kind of feel guilty about because I've had so many of you tell me I would love this product, I needed to try it, it was great, and you love it so much. But at the same time, the reviews, some people really love it, some people say it really doesn't do that much, and unfortunately, I fall into that second category. I have tried spraying the Tatcha Satin Skin Mist on right after I've finished my makeup. I've tried spraying it on midday as a refresher. I've just tried it in so many ways, and it just really doesn't do anything for me, like at all. It says it's a balancing liquid powder for normal to oily skin. You're supposed to shake it gently, mist 2 to 3 spritzes onto face, and refresh the skin and neutralize shine. Like, I have sprayed it and then sat there and tried to see if my shine is being neutralized or not, and nothing happens at all. I am still just as shiny after. And I've tried blotting and then using it. I've tried using it preventatively to see if my shine stays at bay longer when I use this versus not using it. I got this little size in a set with the water cream and the cleanser, which I love. I love both of those. This just doesn't do anything for me. I don't hate it. I just hate that it does nothing for me. So that has been a big disappointment. Okay, before I get into foundations, I have a few lip products that, well, 2 of them, I really didn't think they were going to end up in this video. I thought they were going to end up being favorites. So with the recent Sephora VIB sale, the fall one, I ended up getting the Patrick Ta lip cream. I can't remember the shades. I'll have them down below, the shades that I got. And the lip liner. I ended up returning them a couple of weeks later, which is a huge thing for me to return a lip product. The texture of the lip liner itself was fine. I didn't like it quite as much as my Charlotte Tilbury. I just could not get on board with the oblong rectangular tip. I just didn't like how I had to maneuver it instead of just quickly glide on the lip liner. It really bothered me, and I just knew I was not going to reach for it. And so the lip cream that I got just pulled really orangey on me, and it didn't look like it would. Some of the other shades that I didn't go for looked like they were going to pull orangey, but this one looked like it was going to be more of just a neutral, and that's why I got it. So when I returned it, the girl that was helping me, when I told her why I was returning it, she was kind of surprised that that one pulled so orangey. I was too. It was just weird, and I don't really go for orangey shades. I just knew I was never going to wear it. The texture of it was really nice. Those were just unexpected disappointments for me. Okay, and speaking of lip products, I ranted about these in a fails video, or monthly faves and fails video, because I just did not see the point of these, and I still don't, so I'm going to rant about them, although in a more abbreviated version here. So there is this brand called Incredible at Sephora, and they had sent me some PR, and in this PR package there were these 2 lip products. One is a rollerball gloss and the other is some kind of like jelly lipstick. And if I'm recalling correctly, there's a very mild scent to the rollerball lip gloss, and there's supposed to be kind of a tint to everything. And when I say tint, I use that term very loosely. There's barely a tint to any of this, and I just still do not understand why one would spend the money on this when you could just go to the drugstore and get some kind of like a cheap balm and get the same thing. It just seems like such a gimmick to me. I still can't believe that people are spending money on this. I look at the ratings on Sephora and then I look at my experience and I'm thinking, am I missing something? Because the lipsticks weren't even hydrating. There was just nothing redeeming about these products. So that had to be in this video because I was just thinking, oh, okay, these are gonna be kind of cute and hydrating and feel good on the lips. Yeah, no, not even a tint, not hardly a smell, no hydration. There was just nothing redeeming to these to me whatsoever. Okay, so for foundations, I have three. I have three standouts for this Worst of Beauty 2019 video. I'm looking at some notes because I didn't want to forget what I was going to say about these. I'm just going to keep it very abbreviated because I do have videos on all three of these that I will link you to if you want to see kind of a longer version of me trying these, seeing these on my face, maybe compared to some other foundations. You can get to those in the description box below. So the first is the new Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation, which was supposed to be a replacement for the Urban Decay Naked Skin foundation. Well, it is not. It is not a replacement. And Urban Decay Naked Skin foundation was one of my holy grail foundations. So RIP Urban Decay Naked Skin. First of all, they have a very overwhelming shade range. It's very hard to match yourself, and their shade descriptions are actually inaccurate, such that you end up matching yourself to something lighter than what you actually are. The finish, while it is pretty natural, it is not skin-like. The way Urban Decay Naked Skin was, Urban Decay Naked Skin was pretty oil controlling, yet was great across different skin types. It never emphasized anything bad. It looked great on the pores. The new Stay Naked foundation is not very oil controlling. It does not do great on the pores, and it claims to last 24 hours and be transfer resistant, and it is not. So I will just leave it at that. For this video, it was a huge disappointment, as was the Kevyn Aucoin Foundation Balm. That is the name. I was thinking it was something else. Now, I've seen a few people really like this that have more normal skin than I do. It looks really beautiful on them. This does not work on my skin whatsoever. It just wants to sit on top and emphasize anything that I did not know was wrong with my skin. Do you know what I mean? I see my skin naked all the time. That sounded weird, but you know what I mean. I see my skin without anything on it. I feel it. I really don't have any texture to my skin unless something breaks me out. And when I put this on it, it looks like I have the worst skin texture. It just looks terrible. I can feel it. It feels heavy. I just cannot say anything good about this at all. And I will say, with all of these foundations that I ever try, I try them in many ways, because I know somebody's going to come in here, they're going to be like, you need to wear it like this, you need to try it with this primer, you need to apply it. I do it. I try it without a primer. I try it with.
I try foundations with brushes, with sponges, with my fingers. I apply a little bit, I apply a lot. I use different primers and different powders.
I do it all. I'm very thorough when I try foundations. I don't just do first impressions. I test foundations very, very thoroughly. Man, no matter how I tried this, it just sucked on my skin. No, this is huge disappointment. The other one, which was a huge disappointment, because I can honestly say, I think pretty much everything else from this brand I have loved. It is the Hourglass Vanish foundation. But I do think there are several people that also felt the same way about the Vanish foundation. It didn't settle well on my pores. It transferred quite badly. It was not good at oil controlling, and it emphasized any dry areas that I had. When I do foundation reviews, I really try to tell you guys, okay, if it doesn't work for me, it might work for X skin type. I had a really hard time with this one because it didn't control oil, yet it caught on my dry patches too. So if it didn't work for my oily skin and it didn't work on my dry areas, you know, maybe perfectly normal skin, but how many people have perfectly normal skin, right? So I really was confused about the Hourglass Vanish foundation. Now, Moroccan Oil is another brand that I typically love, but I have to be very, very careful about the products that I use from them. So naturally, I look for things that are light or made to volumize, made for fine hair. So earlier in the year, I picked up their volumizing. It either says it's for fine hair, it says it's volumizing, their shampoo and conditioner, and hated it. They completely weighed my hair down. I was so surprised by that, actually, because I do love several products from Moroccanoil. I just thought because they were made for fine hair that they were gonna smooth it while volumizing it and it was not gonna be an issue, but they made my hair a limp mess. I could not stand them. Probably my biggest rant of 2019, which isn't really makeup or skincare, I mean, it's kind of body skincare, is the Flamingo razor. I saw it in Target, thought it was sleek and pretty. It's a razor. It's gonna work, right? It was the worst razor I've ever tried in my life. And when I talked about that in that particular Faves and Fails, and I ranted about that razor, I'll link it if I can figure out which video that's in. Mostly, you guys that have tried it agreed with me. It was so ineffective at shaving, which is a razor's only job, right? I mean, it's supposed to shave. I mean, I had to go over and over and over and over areas, and it just did not do what a razor's supposed to do. I didn't even get razor burn from it because it just didn't work. So if you are going through Target or wherever else this Flamingo razor is sold and you are enticed by the aesthetics of this razor, do not be lured in. It is all marketing and packaging. Get the Schick, get the Gillette, get the tried and true brands that are going to actually do the job and, you know, shave the hair off of your body so that you won't sit there and just shave air. Let me know your biggest fail of 2019. Tell me in the comments down below. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button before you leave. I'll have a link here to my holiday gift guide. If you haven't seen it, it is pretty awesome, or so a lot of you have told me. And look out soon for my other 2 videos in my Best of Worst of 2019 series, so you can check them out too. Thanks guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.